I hope my voice is clear. So, the person who is drafting a complaint, he is bothered about to what extent are we supposed to bother about that. That is the point I want to stress on now. Look, if you think too much about evidence, then you will not be able to file a complaint. You will start feeling inferiority complex because maybe this evidence is weighty or less weight. So at this stage of complaint, it is not our job to think and evaluate about the evidences. Now, the word court itself is defined in IPC as a person or an officer who is entitled or authorized to take evidence on oath. So that is the definition of court. That being the case, the person who is entitled to evaluate evidence is also the judge. At the stage of writing a complaint, we are not supposed to evaluate or go through or bother much about complaint. So now what are we supposed to do? We are just bothered about the facts. In complaint, we are not bothered about the evidence. We are only bothered about facts. Is it a fact or not? Whether we have evidence to back it up or not, that is not our headache. That is the headache, that is the job of the investigator. Once you write a complaint and the FIR is registered, after the FIR is registered, the case is handed over to investigation officer. The investigation officer takes over the case. Now what is investigation? What is the meaning of investigation? In our law, the investigation means the collection of evidence. That is investigation. So now the job to collect evidence is, that is the liability of the police. During investigation, a notice is issued to you that you being the complainant, whatever evidence you have in your possession, please hand it over to us so that we file it in the court. Who is going to file it in the court? The investigation officer is going to file that evidence in the court. So now our job is to only bother about and think about facts and record the facts. And in those facts also mention, if there are some evidences which are already available, then just in passing you can refer to those evidences. So this is one important point, because people are discouraged. While writing complaint, people are discouraged. What is the evidence? I may not have evidence. But during investigation, the evidence may be received by the police from any other witness or CCTV camera or any recovery. We cannot say, we cannot predict in advance. So that was one important thing, because people are bogged down by the worry that we may not have evidence, or we may lose the case, or the justice may not be done, or the thing may not be recovered. These are the concerns which we are not bothered about at this stage. Just document all the facts, don't bother about evidence. This is how justice will be done. Investigation is the job of the police officer. He is going to investigate and collect evidences. So this was one very important part which was to be covered. Now the topics which were given in the flyer: how to report a crime, how to professionally write a complaint letter, how to lodge an FIR, how to report a domestic abuse, how to report communal riot and collect evidences that are accepted in the courts. Now regarding this communal riot or any other riot, now it is case to case basis. Like there is nothing like, for example, in Hyderabad riots, case number so and so. There is nothing like that. It depends on specific incidents. Some attack happened on one particular individual. That constitutes one offense. There is a separate FIR for that. So there is nothing like citywide one case for the entire city. So there is nothing like that. So case to case basis. Now what we have to take care is that every victim lodges a written complaint. Whatever loss they might have experienced, whether it is burnt property or any damage or any attack. So just document. FIR is mandatory in all cases of cognizable offences. So we have to obtain FIR at the first instance. Later on, justice will be done definitely, because things will return to normalcy. During normalcy, investigation will be carried out, statements will be recorded. So this is one aspect. One additional thing which I want to stress on is, we would like to have all the facts at the same place in the complaint, because as I said, it is a material omission. If we omit to state any important thing, then it is a material omission. Material omission is a contradiction at the time of the trial. Now during investigation, what happens? The investigation officer records statements under 161 Criminal Procedure Code. Now whatever you have told in the complaint is going to be compared to section 161 statement during trial. As a part of cross-examination, that's the comparison is going to be done. Any contradiction will be highlighted at that stage. So that is the reason we have to think over it, and in a logical fashion without missing anything. All the facts have to be documented at the stage of the complaint. One more thing, if it is not necessary to write in detail, it's not like writing a story. The more you elaborate, the more merit it will gain. That is not the case. If all the facts are documented, all the incidents are documented, that's it. There is no need to give your opinion or write anything which is unnecessary. So the rest of it will be done in the charge sheet. In the charge sheet, the police officer will also give his opinion. This is what I have found. These are the statements which I have recorded. These are the evidence which I have collected. In my opinion, the accused has to be convicted and punished under so and so sections. So that opinion will be given by the police officer. Now evidences, collect evidences. In the question it is given that in a communal riot, do we need to collect evidences from different places? So it is not like a commission. How do we work under, for example, if there is any disturbance, how do we work in a disturbance? It is case to case basis. It is not like we club everything together and collect evidences and file everything together. There is nothing like that. Specific incident and evidences related to that particular incident have to be filed during investigation. Victims and the person in whose name the complaint was filed, he will be given a notice by the police officer, investigation officer. The notice will say that I am investigating and you are called upon to submit all the evidences pertaining to the case. That time you collect all the things, list it and then submit it to the police officer and keep one copy with you. Alright, so this is the procedure. If police not taking action, we have completed it in detail. Should I complain against a corrupt police officer in my case? Look, I'll tell you, it has not been framed properly. There is no such thing like a corrupt police officer in India. And most of the police officers know that no police officer is corrupt. So the frame of the point is wrong. The thing is, what the intent of the person who wrote the statement was, if the officer does not respond, then what should we do? That we have covered in detail. For example, you can go to a magistrate, or you can file a writ petition, or the private complaint, memo. The complaint can be in the form of memo, or private complaint, or a writ petition, in all these manners. And one more thing I told you, complaint to the higher ups, higher officials, ACP, Commissioner of Police. Then you have Home Secretary, Home Minister, Chief Minister, all those things. So this is the way. Then apart from this, one important thing, we have got Human Rights Commission and Minority Commission. So if some injustice happens to you, parallelly you can invoke the jurisdiction of Human Rights Commission, and Minorities Commission. Both the two places. You have to file separate petitions. So and so happened to me, which is wrong or illegal, which is not justified. So that thing can be done. Apart from that, if you have any evidence, then you can approach Chief Vigilance Commissioner, who keeps a watch on all the government departments, and also Anti-Corruption Bureau. It is also a government agency. These are two agencies apart from these regular structures: Chief Vigilance Commissioner and Anti-Corruption. What are the top 3 mistakes your relatives will make when you are arrested by the police? Look, arrest is not something to be afraid of. In our legal system, any person can file a complaint against any other person, with basis or without basis. So a person is liable to be arrested, whether truly or falsely. So there is nothing to be afraid. Innocent person can be, if some person is arrested, it does not mean that he is guilty. And if there is no arrest, it does not mean that he is not guilty. So arrest is a regular thing. We have to take it in our stride. And what is the biggest mistake people do? They run and they go to the police officer and make requests. अरे छोड़ दो ना बोल के बोलते हैं, ये देते वो देते बोल के बोलते हैं. तो ऐसा नहीं बोलना चाहिए, ठीक है ना? तो अरेस्ट करे तो ठीक है. What are the offenses and what is the evidence? So when a police officer summons you to the police station, then it means that he has got some evidence against you, or some person who has some credible complaint against you. So first he verifies, he does some inquiry. When a person approaches the police do preliminary inquiry. If in the preliminary inquiry they find that there is some truth to the allegations you are making, only then they will summon the accused. Otherwise they will not summon, they will just close the complaint. So we are talking about only cognizable cases. Look, the criminal procedure is set into motion only at the happening of cognizable offences. There is something called state case, private case. Wherever an offence has been declared as cognizable, only in that case the state government is interested in the case, and the state appoints a prosecuting officer to prosecute their case. The state itself takes upon itself the responsibility to prosecute that case. So state cases, all cognizable cases are state cases. The victim need not appoint a lawyer. It is called assistant public prosecutor. There are prosecutors, assistant public prosecutors. So they are going to handle your case. If you have any grievance, then you have to approach the assistant public prosecutor and investigation officer. Both of them are your authorities. There you have to submit your evidences and you have to submit your grievances. If you have any evidence of witnesses or any additional evidence to be discovered or recovered, all these things you have to share it with the investigation officer. So I was talking about arrest. If there is credible information, the police looks for evidence. If they find some credible evidence, then they'll book an FIR and you will be summoned to the police station. If you are summoned to the police station, then if you have any if you have any witnesses in your favor, or if you have any evidence in your favor which you can produce, immediately produce before the police officer. Look, the complainant will be present in the police station, and they will narrate their complaint along with the evidences. Now you have to give your own version. You have to give your own evidence. Based on that, weighing will be done, and the police will decide which way to go, whether to book an FIR and prosecute you or to let you off. Most of the cases, if you are able to successfully counter the version of the complainant, and if you have some credible evidence with you, most of the cases FIR will not be registered against you, and you will be let off. During 2-3 inquiries, if it is found that the complainant is persisting and he has got some edge over in the matter of evidence and version, only then FIR will be booked and you will be prosecuted. You will have to face trial. In the trial, during cross-examination, you have to bring out the truth. So if you are arrested, what should you do? You have to speak, and you have to convince to the police officer that that is not the case and the allegation is false. There are evidences in your favor. This is the best you have to do. So, and there is no need to worry much about, like for example, third degree torture, all those things are things of the past. Now these are not the days when those things are routinely done. So we need not worry much about that. And because of the advent of information technology, smartphones, cameras everywhere, even in police stations you have cameras, CCTV cameras. If you go there, in the lobby there is a camera, in the lockup there is a camera, in the inside the chamber there is a camera, everywhere there is a camera. In fact, the police is recording 161 statements are also under camera. Video recording of the statement, 161 statements are in written form as well as in video form, in both the forms. So I think the concern is misplaced. Remand case diary. You have to collect the papers, FIR, copy of the FIR, and remand case diary will be given to you. You have to contact your lawyer immediately. Then steps will be taken in that manner. Either once you learn about the registration of FIR, you have two options. Either go for anticipatory bail, or if you are arrested, then go for regular bail. And bail also, there is a fighting strategy. If you get a bail, all right, fine, issue is solved. If you don't get a bail, go for appeal to the High Court. If you don't get bail there, then Supreme Court. Don't have money, wait for some time. Again go for application, bail application, regular bail application. So this way, this is a fighting strategy. There are some other ways also, but this is not those cannot be shared on the official platform. So I am skipping those things. So now these are the things which were supposed to be discussed, and we have covered all the things which have been mentioned in the flyer. And other things are going to be covered during discussion on arrest and bail. In detail, those things will be covered at that time. Now let us talk about some important concept called burden of proof. According to our Evidence Act, the person who asserts has to prove. The one who asserts has to prove. The one who asserts has to prove. And there is something called burden of proof. There is something else called standard of proof. This I am trying to cover the entire law in a nutshell. simple facts in a simple manner. What is the one who asserts has to prove. So the burden of producing evidence and prosecuting is on the person who claims a particular thing. For example, you say that some XYZ act was done against you. For example, somebody hit you and you were injured. Now, who is burdened with the responsibility to approach the police station, write a complaint, file a complaint, and go to the court and appear as a witness? Who is bound? The complainant, the victim. So the one who asserts has to prove. Now, for example, if he sits at home, does nothing, and only cries and wails and becomes emotional, so will it help? No. In our criminal law, the system of court and our legal system will not approach the victim and take some action on his or her behalf. There is a system of lawyers. The victim has approached a lawyer, and the lawyer has to give the remedy has to be executed, and the criminal procedure and the criminal system has to be set into motion so that justice is delivered to the victim. So the entire system is lawyer-based system. The law we are the legal system we are following, it's called common law system. Common law system is a lawyer-based adversarial system. So now,
you said that there is a camera in every jail, in every place. Did you say that it's not?
In most of the places, including police stations, CCTV cameras are installed.
Under judicial custody in the police station, there was a recent killing, and wasn't that recorded by camera?
Yes, it must have been recorded. This is the was it not recorded or not? That is the question the defense counsel will ask the prosecuting witness, PW1. The question will be put to the PW1, investigation officer. When the investigation officer sits on behalf of the victim, stating before the court that so and so was killed by accident, or he was trying to run away and he was shot dead. That is what he will state. The defense and the constables will be prosecuted, or some other officer will be prosecuted. The lawyer appearing on behalf of those constables and officers will ask this question. If it had been really the case, then it would have been recorded in CCTV. CCTV has not been filed. So my client has to be acquitted. Tehelka, do you know Tehelka case? Tehelka rape case. What is his name? The editor of Tehelka. His name, check in the phone. Tarun Tejpal. One girl accused Tarun Tejpal that he raped her. Then FIR was booked and investigation was done, and the matter came up to trial. Now, Tarun Tejpal, was he acquitted or convicted? Do you know the case? It's a very famous case. The entire world knows about the case. What do you say? Tarun Tejpal was acquitted or convicted? Tarun Tejpal was let out. He was left off. He was acquitted. Why? Because the investigation officer filed the CCTV footage of the ground floor and the third and the fourth floor. But she did not file the CCTV footage for second floor. Now the entire argument was, what was the demeanor of the victim when she was coming out of the second floor? At every floor, the lift door was opened, and it seemed there was a struggle. Now, during when the lift door was opened in the ground floor, the demeanor of the victim can be seen. Third floor, it cannot be seen. Fifth floor, it can be seen. Nothing untoward in the fourth and fifth floor. In the first floor also, nothing untoward. Now the crucial question is, the assault happened on the second floor, and did she file CCTV for the second floor? No. Based on this, benefit of doubt was given to Tarun Tejpal, and Tarun Tejpal was left out. He was acquitted. So CCTV footage is so crucial, and if there is a lapse in investigation, the benefit of doubt will go to the accused. The benefit of doubt will go to the accused in case there is a lapse in investigation. That is the classic case. There are several other cases. Most of the criminal cases end up in acquittal, and you can see the number of reasons why acquittals are taking place. So now there are many things I want to say, but I cannot say because the thing is being telecast and it is being recorded. So I cannot be so honest and straightforward and share everything with you. So only official and only those things which can be recorded, I am sharing it with you as part of the thing. So overall the thing is, if the victim is vigilant and knows about the system, then in 99% of the cases justice will be done. There is nothing like this. This is a democratic country, and to a great extent investigation agencies are independent, and most of them contain good and upright officers, and we need to support them, and we should not discredit the system, and this is the system we have got, so we have got to utilize it in our favor.
Sir, when shall we stop the live recording to hear the truth from you?
This is all really. Look, there are facts, there are relevant facts. I am talking about facts. Relevant facts also I will speak, but later on.
Just tell us.
So we have planned out something for today. So I am completing all those things. So with God's grace, we have completed most of it. Much of it we have in criminal law. So we have covered much of it. Look, burden of proof. The burden of proof lies on the person who asserts. Now, who is representing the person who is victim in our criminal justice system? Public prosecutor, assistant public prosecutor. So they are, burden of proof lies on their shoulder. They have to produce evidence, standard of proof. This one is very important. Standard of proof. There is something called preponderance of evidence, preponderance of probabilities, and there is something called strict proof. Proof beyond reasonable doubt. Proof beyond reasonable doubt. Proof beyond reasonable doubt. Reasonable doubt. Now in civil cases, the standard of proof is preponderance of probabilities. The judge hears both the sides, the complainant or the plaintiff and the defendant. He listens to the arguments of both the parties. He reads the evidence filed by both the plaintiff and the defendant. After going through all these things, he will consider. He will not look for absolute truth. He will just look for, to his logical mind, what must have been most probable in a given circumstance. So based on the evidence, he will decide, he will give a ruling. Considering all these probabilities, the preponderance lies this side. This side means on the side of the plaintiff or on the side of the defendant. So he will not look for strict proof. He will not look for proof beyond reasonable doubt. In criminal trials, only a reasonable doubt has to be created. Once a reasonable doubt is created, the accused is acquitted. In case of Tarun Tejpal, reasonable doubt was created. The clinching evidence lies in the CCTV of the second floor. CCTVs of second floor not filed. The accused has to be given reasonable doubt has been created. If there was a recording, it had to be filed. If there was no recording, why there was no recording? Why there was no CCTV camera? No answers. So reasonable doubt created, accused acquitted. So now the job of the defense lawyer is a bit comparably easier. In civil cases, he has to establish preponderance of probabilities. All probabilities have to be argued. So standard of proof is beyond reasonable doubt. That is why most of the criminal more than 50% of the criminal cases end up in acquittal, because the standard of proof is very high. If a single reasonable doubt is created, he will be acquitted. That is the reason. But it does not mean that the entire system is discredited. It is 100% creditable, because our justice system does not believe, our law does not believe in punishing an accused just because probability has been created that he might have committed something. So on may or might, he cannot be punished. Some definite proof beyond reasonable doubt has to be produced. So this particular thing has to be noted. Now one more thing. For example, if one accused is let off, he is acquitted. Does it mean that the justice system has failed? What do you say? Did the justice system fail because the accused was let off? Look, the entire procedure, once the police officer gets some credible evidence, from that point on, he has to run around the police station and the court, and he has to face the trial, and he has to face and pay the charges, and he has to face the risk and run the risk of getting punished by the court. So the entire the accused, when he goes through the entire thing, that itself is a punishment. And how long does the trial the case go on? For 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. For 4 years, he stands the risk of getting punished anytime. So he has faced that uncertainty. So that particular thing is equivalent to punishment. So that particular aspect has to be borne in mind. Now let us come to 498A. 498A is cruelty for dowry. That is the section 498A. So 498A is invoked when the wife is treated with cruelty because of demand for dowry. I'll read out the section. Section 498A. Husband or relative of husband of a woman subjecting her to cruelty. Whoever, being the husband or the relative of the husband of a woman, subjects such woman to cruelty shall be punished with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 3 years, and shall also be liable to a fine. So what are the ingredients? Just open up in your phones. Section 498A IPC. Being the husband or the relative of a husband of a woman. So what is the first ingredient? Husband or relative. This is the first ingredient. Second, the woman should be subjected to cruelty. Second ingredient. What is the third one? How is cruelty defined? Cruelty is any willful conduct which is of such nature as is likely to drive the woman to commit suicide or to cause grave injury or danger to life, limb or health. Second, B, harassment of the woman, where such harassment is with a view to coerce her or any person related to her to meet any unlawful demand for any property or valuable security. So harassment. Any injury or harassment. RASS. Mental torture falls under harassment. So these are the ingredients. Okay. Now write a complaint. It's an interesting exercise. We'll be able to point one very particular relevant thing in this matter. So now write. With these ingredients in mind, write a complaint. You have 5 minutes. Write to SHO. harassment. In a sense, I'm the officer. Facing harassment and anything. So, what do you mean when you say that you are being harassed? What are the words and what are the acts? And in what manner are you being harassed? So, till you describe what and how, what specific words, then it does not make any sense. So that you have to keep in mind. For example, what is it? Are you being hurt by the use of specific words? So those words have to be mentioned. And are you being hit? Are they slapping you? Are they pushing you around? Or they are not, or denying you food? Or denying you enough sleep? Or are they referring to you in any other derogatory term? So we are not sure. We are not sure. So we are not sure. So those things have to be described in detail. So only that makes sense in the criminal code. Because how are you going to prove harassment? For example, I am sitting as PW1 and giving my statement. I am being harassed. That's what I say. So now, how do you prove that? If you give specific facts, only then you can prove those facts. One thing. Second thing is, you are being harassed for dowry. What does it mean? What does it mean? You have been harassed for dowry. How do I convert it into concrete terms? Dowry means can be anything. 1 rupee, 10 rupee, 1 lakh rupee, 7 lakh rupee. What is it? Or a vehicle, gold. What is it? You have to be specific. मूंगफली के लिए परेशान हो रहा क्या? यानी मूंगफली के लिए परेशान कर रहा क्या? ऐसा भी मजाक करना है तो ऐसा भी कर सकते. तो यू हैव टू राइट कि भाई सो द डिमांड वाज सो एंड सो. 1 लाख रुपया डिमांड कर रहा था, 2 लाख रुपये डिमांड कर रहा था. दैट हैज़ टू बी in your complaint. If it is not, then the complaint does not attract the provision. So FIR cannot be registered, it cannot be prosecuted.
I want to report an FIR after being tortured by my husband, ex-wife, to the morning. I request you to please help in hospital.
Experience. Now, what we are looking for? Specific instances, beating, words, and then demand for amount. It can be jewelry also. Dowry, if you read Dowry Prohibition Act, you will see in the definition of dowry, it's not confined to cash. It can be either in cash or in kind. So, there we go. Next. I think we have covered the general principles. Whatever I wanted to illustrate has been made clear. Look, some injury. For example, you go on the road, you fall by the wayside and injure yourself. That is not cruelty, that is only injury. In cruelty, it involves emotional and mental element. Got it? So harassment and cruelty, and it is specifically described in our enactment, in judgments also. If you read judgments under Domestic Violence Act, then what words constitute cruelty, what words do not constitute cruelty, they are very specifically defined. If they are not defined, they are defined by rulings. But Domestic Violence Act is also very clear. For example, in domestic violence, what is cruelty? Cruelty is any abuse. It can be mental abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, financial abuse. Any of the abuse constitutes cruelty. So in Domestic Violence Act, it is very clearly defined. There is no ambiguity in that. Read out. Are you reading out the complaint? Are you going to read out the complaint? Okay, we can. I'll come to you. She wants to read out the complaint. Let us hear. You have?
How do we prove that?
Yes. Look, in Evidence Act, evidence is of two types: oral evidence, documentary evidence. The word of the victim is also evidence. When you say that he has said or she said so and so, so and so, so and so to me, that constitutes evidence. Based on that, judgment will be passed in your favor. Your word also is evidence. You cannot discount that. In all our intelligence, we think that the evidence must be in the form of only documents or things or recordings. That is not the case. In fact, I will come to the point where if I read out the definition of evidence from the Evidence Act, it will become very clear, and this will dispel the confusion in your minds. It is not my opinion. What I have just told you, it is not my opinion. I am trying to read out from Evidence Act. You can pull out in your phones as well. In Evidence Act, we have got this under definitions. You look at the definition of the document. Document means any matter expressed or described upon any substance by means of letters, figures, or marks, or by more than one of those means, intended to be used or which may be used for purpose of recording that matter. A writing is a document, words printed, lithograph, photographs are documents, a map or plan is a document, an inscription on a metal plate or stone is a document, a caricature is a document. Anything is a document, any material thing, where some signal, sign, or which conveys some meaning, that is evidence. That is document. Now let us come to evidence, what we are interested in right now. Now the definition I have read out, that will enlarge the scope of your thinking. You will think that you will think about documents in a very strict manner. That a document may be A4 size paper, or some disk, or some recording. Nothing more than that. But that is not the case. The definition of the scope and ambit of the word document under our Evidence Act is very large. So now next I will read out the definition of evidence. Evidence means and includes all statements which the court permits or requires to be made before it by witnesses in relation to matters of fact under inquiry. Such statements are called oral evidence. Is that clear? So if somebody says something, the Evidence Act says that it is oral evidence, and evidence is required to prove a fact. If you say something or a witness says something, then it is liable to be cross-examined. Once it remains steadfast in cross-examination, then that is taken as a fact. Once fact is proved, judgment will be given. That is what you want. I guess it is very clear now.
Yeah, can I proceed with my question, please?
Where is it?
So, in couples, when there is a fall down, right, and the husband doesn't
Under dissolution of Muslim Marriage Act.
so he doesn't support, like he doesn't want to give divorce because he has to support.
There is the wish and the will of the husband is immaterial, totally out of the question. The court is going to decide, and the lady is going to get the divorce.
So what should we
File a divorce petition under dissolution of Muslim Marriage Act. There is entire act just devoted for this to resolve this issue.
and how about sometimes not necessarily from the same community, but others also approach, like from the gent side, the lady is putting pressure for him to
Anybody can file under dissolution of Muslim Marriage Act. Husband can file, wife can file.
only for the
It's a neutral act. Serves both ways. If you are a Muslim, if the party is a Muslim, that's the solution. If the party is a Hindu Marriage Act.
what is that
Hindu Marriage Act.
So it's the same. They can without the consent of husband, they can separate it. Is the husband
Look, when the matter goes before the court, The consent of husband is immaterial, totally not material at all, not relevant at all.
Agreed, but how can you put pressure on him to give the maintenance and the child support?
No pressure. He has to go to jail 1 month. For one default, 1 month. Another default, another month.
Because I believe there is something that they will evaluate whether he's in a position to pay or not, whether he has a job or not.
There is nothing like position to pay. Once you are married, you have to take out the responsibility. Some basics you have to pay.
So,
It is like you are eating, but you don't want your wife to eat. That's not allowed.
so
The court gives the minimum subsistence allowance. That has to be paid. If it does not pay, go to 1 month jail.
so it's
that is-
really fine to pay, right?
100%.
But they
We are not talking about Hindu movies. We are talking about courts. They directly give judgment, send you to jail.
But the only thing is that in the court it will take a lot of time, and I think they take advantage.
Depends. If we pursue the matter aggressively, the time will also be reduced. Special courts are designated fast track courts. For DVC, special courts are there, fast track courts. You go to anywhere in the Manoranjan complex, all fast track courts are devoted to negotiable instrument act cases, then DVC cases. The system has been revamped a lot. Now, those are old times when people used to say that the closest thing a man can experience to eternity is the progress of the civil suit. Those days are gone long back. Amendments have been done 1976, 2001, and later on, I guess in some later 2011 also. Amendments have been. The system of cameras is also going to be implemented. The court's cameras are already installed. Those people who are taking repeated adjournments, there are remarks passed against those lawyers also. So the system is going to change a lot in 5 to 10 years time. Just wait and see, because all the world powers, our powers, everybody wants the system to run fast. So 100% the result you will see. Okay.
Because maybe there is a lot of unawareness. People are not aware. So maybe, you know.
It's the duty of the law. It's the duty of the lawyers to educate the public. That I am doing.
Thank you.
But there are precedents to protect men. There are two things men can do. Men can protect themselves first. Second thing, there are rulings of the court, Supreme Court, where the courts have ruled that the wife filed a case against husband alleging cruelty. In the end, it was proved that it was not the wife who was facing cruelty, but it was actually the husband who was facing cruelty. So those judgments there are there. There are a lot of precedents. So women are saved by laws, men are saved by precedents. So you have to read judgments.
This question is, like if somebody is asking for a particular kind of status and to maintain according to the status, what will the courts reply?
Ah.
It will be very judicious.
Court doesn't lead to that. See, courts doesn't lead to that, from your permission.
Definitely.
Court doesn't lead to everything which a woman asks for. Okay, it is not judicious as per his earnings. He is not as sir just now said. He can't say that I cannot flee because I'm not earning. But then court will decide judiciously what is fair enough for him, on how much is his strength that he can, how much he can afford, he will maintain accordingly. That is same actually. And DDC, Anisa, most of them are unaware that DDC protects men also, as you just mentioned.
No, under aggrieved person has been defined as only a woman.
Yes, yes. It is common, as you said, even men can go and get justice there.
Okay.
Even the authorities are unaware of that, surprisingly.
Under Senior Citizens Act, both men and women come under that, the amplitude of that act. I guess it has turned into a general question answer session, whereas it was supposed to be feedback on the exercise we have done. So it is better, because this kind of sessions you can on YouTube you can watch hundreds of videos. What is the purpose of joining here? It is to do exercise and get some practical writing skills. So I guess 498A, I think I have given enough feedback. Now you have first-hand experience of writing a criminal complaint. Now if you are able to write complaints on behalf of victims, poor and uneducated fellows, as a result of attending this workshop, then I think the object with this. I was supposed to on the topic. I have covered all the topics which are mentioned in the flyer, and the objective I had set for myself, I have covered those things also. So I guess I will have to close down this session. I thank you for your patience, and if anything is left out, we can cover in the question answer session, or any other additional topic will be covered.
Those who have missed the session, we have a live streaming going on, and we will give you the link. It will be on the YouTube. You can see on the YouTube. So those people who missed the session, ask us for the link. I mean, my mother is going to have this son. You can take the other numbers also and call them and give you the link. Or you send the WhatsApp and hi and send you the link. For those who want to catch up. The other thing is we have the advocate Afsal Jahan. She's a very activist, and she's for the women's causes, and she's a senior advocate of the High Court. And I thought we have other activists as well. So I will give the mic to her for a couple of minutes to speak, and then we will tell you our legal awareness program and what we plan to do. And then we'll open it up for general questions from the public. What you like, what you feel, and what should be presented. Follow my please. Please have patience. Any questions so far? Any questions? We have depending on the rated they have of each other, they tend to go to either court or police station or Mahila Mandal, irrespective of the magnitude of the problem. Sometimes the magnitude of the problem might be small, but just because they had some, grudges between themselves, they tend to take a higher step to punish them. So in such a case, typically going to a lawyer most likely ends up in a lawyer telling, okay, I will fix your problem. Just, they will try to find additional clauses that can be applied on to harassment or applied on her to harassment, depending on who goes to the lawyer. So in such a case, do you see any, specific counseling associations for the community that are very effective in our work? Because I am part of an association where we do counseling, and we have found one case in which the spouses were going for 2.5 years. The husband was the civil engineer, the only civil engineer in a rural village, and the lady was also, a honest lady, but because there were some grudges, they were just going through these side steps in which they were going to, either Mahila Mandal, they went to police station, they went to the lawyers. Now, the only solution in that case was like going to a proper counselor and then proving them that where they are doing wrong. And if we prove to them honestly, what was happening is they went even to ulama where they got the counseling, but the ulama did a fair job of identifying the root cause of the problem, and that's why both parties were not satisfied, and they kept on going to the station multiple times. So they came to us, and we did around 7 hours of counseling. At the end of the project, they were both together, and they're now enjoying good life. Because the root cause of the problem because the husband was not taking proper precautions of how he should behave with other ladies of the family, and that's why the wife was having a suspicion that he is not honest with her. But that was not usually the case. The problem was that he was not following the specific guidelines that are very easily available to the parties. And Uttama failed to identify that spot. Instead, they were just trying to pull down the wife by putting something like that happened. Even the wife side, there were some issues, and unless counseling team does the right job of identifying the root cause and giving a fair judgment on where they should fix, the problem is like separations instead of it, for spouses which can be got together, there will be separations once the person goes. Thank you.
I would say that you don't need to be so courteous and soft spoken because she is not here. And I can say what I want to say because she is not here. So you see, that's it. So this arbitration, the arbitration and arbitration, reconciliation and counseling, we are also going to have a similar thing with both these and retired judges very soon. I don't know if we got equal or one of this. We are going to have this as well with our educational and our healthcare and our other. So we're going to have one of this as well. Thank you very much.
So I just wanted to answer you actually have to understand the
Domestic Violence Act. There's an officer called Protection Officer. As you think, that's a very wrong notion which you all or कहाँ से आप लोगों को पता नहीं ये आई है इन्फॉर्मेशन. पहले तो पुलिस स्टेशन में डीवीसी का मैटर ही दर्ज नहीं होता है. स्ट्रेट अवे दे फाइल 498 which is waste. ठीक है. If DVC is there, there's a protection officer. Remember, the DVC Act moves throughout the entire, मतलब पूरा complete होते होते, it revolves around counseling. Okay? The solution given by the court or the act itself is counseling, which is done by different authorities, be it the protection officer, be it the court. Then the court assigns some advocates to counsel both the parties. It's not that straight away DVC file hua hai, then they are put behind the bars. No. So it's a very interesting act, and unfortunately I've seen in practice that this is not even practiced by the authorities. The police also doesn't know where to direct the case. It is the protection officer which you have to reach in a DVC matter. Yes. It's absolutely. What did you say? There's no immediate relief?
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Please.
What I'm asking is, as of now, as you just said, there is no sudden relief in domestic violence.
There is.
It is a long pending process.
No, there is, and the act itself provides a limited time. It has to be concluded within a period of 90 days. The judgment has to be delivered within a period of 90 days. It's a speedy mechanism.
I'm sorry again asking this question. Is it like the 90 days is the state, is it the reality or it is just a documentation?
It's a reality. Unless and until you approach through the proper mechanism, you won't get it, right? The authorities are sitting there without getting any such proper cases. As I just told you, most of the cases which we, a husband, wife, even a domestic violence matter, when it reaches police station, they straight away register a 498 matter. They convert it to that and they just do a chota mota counseling and then send them back. There's a proper mechanism of a protection officer.
For those who have been a victim of the domestic violence, except in a police station, what would be a measure of relief?
I am telling you, you have to reach a protection officer who is attached to the collector of this district.
So I have to give a written application.
Yes, you have to, and they will give you they will come to the rescue of the victim, providing her medical care, okay, providing her shelter home. All these things are there. I've been, for your information, let me tell, I've been working on domestic violence matters, and Alhamdulillah, I have applied for the license of a service provider. If Shoaib Saab arranges a session, I would be, thankful that I will bring awareness about this entire act, because I'm working on it on the ground, and we have established 8 counseling centers, 8, and which are attached to the protection officer. Okay, so there's a lot more to bring awareness. I think the DVC Act has to be, people have to be enlightened about Domestic Violence Act.
Thank you for all your quoted words. In short, in a layman language, for example, I am a victim of domestic violence. I should need directly to approach the police station or the collector office or
See.
any other organization as you just said.
There are 3, authorities in this act. which are being given powers by the act itself. Let me tell you, the major role is played by the protection officer, okay, and these protection officers take the services of some NGOs also. What is there's some body which is called the service providers team is here. We have it in Hyderabad. They call for it's very popular name, I'm forgetting. Sorry, not She Team. There's one Bharosa Center, there's She Team, and one more organization which is Sakhi Center. Exactly, Sakhi Center is the service provider here in Hyderabad. Remember that. But they do get different cases being reported. So you have a service provider, okay, who can be any NGO or anybody who get a license from the government to play the role of a service provider. Their job is to provide medical aid to her, shelter to her, okay, immediate relief, coordinate with the police, coordinate with the protection officer, make a report of it, send the report to the protection officer, and assist the protection officer, take the matter to the court, then arrange for the counselings. This is a very speedy and mechanism, but people are unaware of it. Unfortunately, the authorities are unaware of it. It's very unfortunate to see. So where I'm trying to bring it into action, Oh, most welcome. My job. Sorry? Even I am telling this, we are common citizens, authorities don't know about it. Police officer just go to a police station and act as a layman. Just insist, don't register my complaint under 498. Register under DVC. Then see their faces. They'll be shocked कि आप ये किस mechanism से ले जाना है. बैठो counseling करेंगे आपके. This is what the police says. Police themselves are unaware. So we are running campaign against. See, you all also join.
In our legal awareness workshop series, asking in our legal awareness workshop series, we'll be asking different specialists to present their
Yes.
talk and their workshop training.
You may.
So this has the patients and we make sure that we do services for them. So would you please enlighten us on what
So now that again, I don't think after Anis Sahab has done his session, I should start immediately something uninvited. I came for some other meeting. Yes, of course, Shoaib Sahab, you told me if people are interested, we'll conduct our sessions. And wherever Anis Sahab is there, I'm always there. He is I learn from Anis Sahab, there's so much to learn from him. Definitely, DVC has its own, बहुत सारे सवाल उठेंगे. अगर एक बात कह दूं तो आप बहुत सारे सवाल करेंगे क्योंकि वो बहुत बर्निंग टॉपिक है और उस पर अगर आप सेशन चाहते हैं तो वो ज़रूर एक तरीके से हो सकता है. आई एम रेडी टू डू दैट.
What about husbands under torture?
Yes, DVC protects husbands under torture. The protection officer, the other day, I don't want to take his name. I spoke to him. I said, see, there are cases where Sakhi is not trying to recognize. And I said, I have some husbands who come with some problems. He said, who said, ma'am? ఇది ఈ యాక్ట్లో లేదు కదా ప్రొటెక్షన్ అంటుందా. నేను చూడండి సార్ ఇక్కడే ఉంది ఈ యాక్ట్లో ప్రావిజన్ కూడా ఉంది. హస్బెండ్ అని కూడా ఉన్నారు అక్కడ. వాళ్ళకు కూడా హింసగా యూ కెన్ ట్రీట్ దెమ్ యాజ్ వైలెన్స్. So people are unaware, the authorities are unaware. We have to take the act, I believe. जब भी जाएंगे कि ये act है follow कर. Yes. Sorry, you're not audible. I mean, थोड़ा सा.
So what I'm saying is, can we redirect women who are facing such situations to Sakhi Center and Bharosa Center?
Yes, as of now, I tried to find out with the authorities. The Commissioner for Women Welfare and Child Welfare also, who is the ultimate authority there. And then I got to know that Sakhi Center is an NGO which has got the license of service provider and the DVC Act. Even I didn't knew that. And they do their own work. So now now because I'm bringing it to your knowledge, you can go and demand them that this is a DVC matter, treat it as a DVC matter and take it to the mechanism of the DVC Act. You can insist on that.
Yeah, because the reason why I ask is many people who are facing such kind of challenges, they don't want to approach the police.
Yes,
They
yes.
want to be redirected to an appropriate NGO. And it so happens that sometimes NGO also does not respond.
See, now if you have many, if you have cases reported as DVC, if you see, if you are a third person also, you can go and complain. Usi bit Mr. Rakeshwar Rao, anybody will give you, very easily. You can refer my name also there. Online portal for domestic. Of course, I think, Anisa, online procedure is common, any criminal act. Then they will identify whether it is DVC, what his question is. No, online registration of the complaint of DVC they are asking. As of now, there is no such portal as far as my knowledge is. That Anil Sahab should enlighten you. Online come.
I have reported one of the principals police station. What point? What point? Some demand for financial benefits or as a doubt. Is it when you start even before marriage?
Yes.
In what stage? What has gifts or how do you differentiate between gifts and cash for dowry?
See, first of all, gifts ka issue that nobody takes it up till the police station or courts. They hide it. Ye gift to gift hai. Both the parties accept it happily and give and take. It's only that when one party is put pressure to give unnecessary demands, then that is considered as dowry, isn't it? And it has no limitation as such. There's no limitation time.
After you finish, I can answer.
Yes, please. I am finished. It's you who has to.
Read Dowry Prohibition Act. Dowry Prohibition Act, there is a provision of recording gifts, even at the
Yes.
time of marriage. There is a mechanism to separate gifts. So you have to follow that mechanism. At the time of marriage, for example, if an item is alleged to be a dowry, the question is whether it is dowry or not. So if you can show in the list that it was gifted at the time of marriage, in the record which you have maintained according to the Dowry Prohibition Act, then it is out of question. The allegation is false. If it does not find a place there, then definitely the allegation has some truth. I guess there is an answer in Dowry Prohibition Act. Dowry Prohibition Act, there is a separate procedure.
People should start,
In fact, when the first time the Dowry Prohibition Act was passed, after that in every marriage, the groom used to sit with the register. Yes? It looked very odd, very unnatural, and it was totally imposed. And the people who were giving gifts used to stand in a line with their envelopes and with their boxes, everything. Now the fellow was full of flowers and writing with a pen. So and so came and gave so and so. So and so came. So it was some the wedding turned into some government office at that time. But now, thankfully, that procedure is not being followed.
Are there any more questions? Are there any more questions? So just to practice filing a complaint, whether a complainant has to follow further again after filing the complaint, or it can get rid of after filing the complaint. One lodges a complaint with the police. So whether any follow-up on the part of this person should be there, or the case can be there is a legal follow-up.
It's a very good speaker, and we have to realize that
You should not forget that we are living in India. This is not America. And if you file a complaint and forget, then the office which takes the complaint also forgets. Nothing will happen. You have to run after the complaint. Action will be taken because they are not bothered. Why will they be bothered? They will not be bothered. You have to follow up. They'll just close it. They'll just close it.
The poor ladies who are filing complaints, what happens? 2-3 months she goes to the court. Later on, there is some problem comes, she stops going to the court. One fine day, when after 1 year she goes, and they finds out that the DVC is dismissed. Why is it dismissed? Where have you been for the last 6 months? The case was called 6 times. The lady does not go even once. Why is the lady not going? Because she lives some far away. She does not have expenses to pay, auto expenses to pay. She has to feed children. There are a lot of tensions. There are fights going on in the family. The brother is also fighting. Mother is also fighting. The kids are crying. It's a horrible situation. So, in any case, once you file the complaint, then it is like you have to follow it up. Without follow up, no result, nothing. Look, these are neutral laws. Domestic Violence Act and 498A, these are neutral, religion neutral laws. Dowry is a phenomena which is found in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. To redress this issue, Act was passed. Irrespective of whatever your religion is, if you trouble your wife and treat her with cruelty, demanding money, which has been a tradition here for the last 3,500 years. If you do that, it is an offense. Whether you are a Muslim or Hindu or Christian or whoever. So it is, you are liable to be punished up to 3 years. Whether you are a Muslim, Hindu or whatever. So these are religion neutral laws. The same with domestic violence. Same with 125 CRPC, maintenance. Whether you are a Christian, Hindu, Muslim, whatever. Maintenance has to be paid. Subsistence allowance has to be paid. The husband has to maintain wife. Judgment. Husband has to maintain wife as per his own standard of living. So what are the expenses for providing the same standard of living? It will be calculated, same will be given.
Any questions?
The definition of cruelty takes it from the cruelty described in Parsi Act only. So if we take the definition of cruelty, so how come it is possible that this is a religiously neutral act?
There is an issue with the mic. There is an issue.
What I'm saying that the user that BSc is a religiously neutral act, right? So the definition of cruelty is only mentioned in Parsi Act.
Parsi Act.
Parsi Act. So how can it is possible that it is religiously neutral act?
Look, again, you can just pull up Domestic Violence Act in your cell phone, and cruelty is defined there. So your assertion that it is only defined in some other act, it is, I guess, unfounded.
You get this question, it says Parsi Act.
Parsi Act.
Yeah, Parsi. So how it is religious
No questions.
Look, I'll tell you, cruelty, the mention of cruelty is in Dissolution of Muslim Marriage Act as well.
It is mentioned in
I gave you the definition of cruelty from the Domestic Violence Act. In cruelty is also defined in IPC. IPC. Just now we read the provision, 498A provision, where cruelty is defined.
See, these are criminal acts, and criminal acts are definitely, religious.
What we have gone through now is that cruelty is like intent of any either eye or both the eyes or like.
That is grievous hurt.
Grievous hurt and
Ah.
cruelty, yeah. So
That is grievous.
mentioned, the definition is mentioned in the Parsi Act itself, and the reference of definition is taken through Parsi Act. So sir has told that it is limited to religiously neutral. So the definition is alone coming from the Parsi Act. So how come it is possible that
It is coming from, look, I'll tell you, in order for you to maintain that the definition of cruelty has come from Parsi. What is that act? What is that? Can you spell out? Parsi Act. What is the full name of the enactment?
Actually, I don't remember. I have read in the Parsi
Don't
Act.
remember means what
Yeah,
you are
but
asking.
it is in Parsi Act, I'm sure.
Look, I'll tell you one thing. Cruelty has been defined in IPC 498A. Just now we have read out. Cruelty has also been defined in Domestic Violence Act. That is also I recollected. Now, for example, just assuming that the definition of cruelty has been taken from XYZ Act, which may exist, may not exist. Because I am not conceding the point that there exists a Parsi Act which defines cruelty, and the cruelty has been borrowed from there to the Domestic Violence Act. To show that, you have to show that from the statement of objects and reasons which is tabled in the Parliament before the enactment is up for discussion, from that statement of object and reason, you have to show that the provisions have been borrowed from that particular law.
We need to determine the grounds of cruelty as well, sir. How we can determine the grounds for cruelty? How we can
Law is very clear, so we need not determine. We have to just save ourselves from cruelty. We need not determine, it is already determined by the Parliament. And to revise what Parliament has passed, we have to sit in the Parliament as members of Parliament. Here in this assembly, we cannot revise what Parliament has passed.
One question. So, in this case of domestic disagreement, now because I don't want to approach the court, the husband says, I will give you a maintenance amount. So, is there a way we can put a pressure on the husband that he has to increase that amount? Did you get my point? So,
Please.
so there is a disagreement, and they don't want to approach the court, the couple. Okay, so the husband says, I will give you a part-free sum of maybe 3,000 or something for maintenance. And because this woman doesn't want to approach the court, she's saying that now I don't know what to do, I'll just agree for that. Though that in no way justified, because that should include the maintenance and child support, everything. So is there any way there can be like pressure can be put on the husband, or she can approach someone by which this...
If the wife has no complaints, we have no complaints.
No, the wife is complaining, but she doesn't know what channel to approach. That's what I'm telling you.
If she has grievance, there are many ways. For example, if there is a mutually agreed rate of maintenance, she has to collect the maintenance and file an additional petition. So it's already agreed amount is being given, but enhanced and revised amount has to be given. So that is why the petition has been filed.
Because there is no consent, like there is a kind of designated amount that is there from the court, right? Like it's who decides actually what's the...
Depends on the standard of living of the husband. In some district courts, if you go, the monthly maintenance for the wife is 3,000 fixed, because based on the expenses, living expenses of that particular district, rents and rates, that particular amount has been fixed. It can be 10,000 in Hyderabad, 20,000, 50,000, it can be anything.
So in the city, if it is the case, if this is the case in Hyderabad, so then is it anything fixed for a particular...
It's not fixed.
Not fixed.
Not fixed.
Depending on
Depends on the living standard of the husband.
then that becomes a point of contention, right?
Contention is before this, you have to think before marrying that man. Once you marry that man, then you cannot say, I can't agree with his standard of living. Your parents checked him out, you checked him out, everybody checked him out, then you celebrated marriage, then walima, everything. After that, you don't agree to the standard of living means what? It does not mean much.
Just want to tell her, it's very difficult to prove that your husband is a confused.
Husband,
He's taking the advantage of the law, that's what I'm trying to say. We know that the standard of living, as per the standard of living, he's supposed to give, say, supposing gains 15,000.
look, I'll tell you one thing. When the parliament passed a law, its objective was, for example, if the husband is taking undue advantage, he was supposed to take undue advantage because the entire parliament, 545 people sitting there, decided that the husband should take advantage. That's why he is taking advantage.
That's why we need the help of.
So, and he is totally entitled. He is totally entitled for that advantage. Now, if you want to take away that advantage, you have to start a political movement to get the law amended. That's the only way. Or it has to be struck down by the Supreme Court that it is against, it is arbitrary, unjust, illegal, unconstitutional.
So you agree there are some kind of things that we have shown us on it.
I am a lawyer. I am not a judge. A lawyer means he advocates a point. He does not decide.
That's true. We are not here to decide, but just how to help such kind of people. That was my question. And I
They don't have complaint. Why should I complain?
no, they're complaining.
The wife has no grievance. I don't have any grievance.
Wife is grieving, that's what I'm saying. She's asking for help, but she doesn't know who
I
to
think
approach.
this has to go to the court of Mother Teresa.
Social pressure. There can be masjid committees, it can be social pressure. She can reach out to the masajid committees, okay? The cases can be taken up by the masjid committees or the mohalla जो बड़े होते हैं, they can do the counseling. Let me tell you, अनिस साहब जो बता रहे हैं standards है ना, see there are broad guidelines given. What is that? It is his earning, the ownership of his property, the dependence on him. All these things will be taken into consideration before fixing the amount of the maintenance. So anybody can do basing on these things, whoever is counseling can also do on the same lines. वो बोले कि नहीं आगे कौड़ी में नहीं कमाया, it's not going to happen.
In addition to this, what I don't understand is why did the wife accept that particular amount in the first place? That I am unable to understand. That's why I told you, you can play double game. You can accept the amount and file for additional amount. And one more thing, there is a lot of ground because here the subject of the session is law. That is the reason I am confining, or she is confining herself only to law. The thing is, there are basic problems in our society. The kid, the girl and the boy both grow up as if they are never going to marry. And marriage means privileges and song and dance around the trees and going and celebrating somewhere in the mountains. So that is the image of marriage. But marriage means here, when after the marriage the girl gets a big shock. It means that sweeping the floor and then washing the dishes, washing the clothes, cooking 3 times a day. It is not something she imagined. In no Hindi film the heroine after marriage is shown as washing the dishes and sweeping the floor till she gets old. So girl gets a rude shock, boy also gets a rude shock. After doing all these things, I am unable to enjoy anything. Again, I have to, like, there is a boss at my workplace and there is a boss at my home also now. I have to obey before both of them. If they are angry with me, then I can't have anything. So now nobody is ready for marriage. If you ask me, honestly, I'll tell you, the people are being married just mechanically. अरे उम्र हो गई, चलो कर लो शादी, जब बुढ़े हो गए तो नहीं मिलती लड़की, चलो बच्ची को बोले उम्र हो गई कर लो बोल के करते रहे. मैकेनिकली शादियां करने की वजह से ये पूरे मसाइल पैदा हो रहे हैं. काउंसलिंग सेंटर चाहिए, प्री मैरिटल काउंसलिंग चाहिए, पोस्ट मैरिटल काउंसलिंग चाहिए. रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, मैरिज मीन्स टेंडेड एंड दे ग्रो अप लाइक रेस हॉर्सेस, eating full and running. That's it. Racehorse. They don't do anything else. Run the course. Eat, dress up well, run on the course. That's it. So it's a pretty complicated issue. And the avenues, like she said, that counseling is very important. Then ego issues, then money issues, standard of life issues clash clash of temperaments, personalities. Then suddenly the father jumps in, then father-in-law jumps in, the lawyer jumps in, the police fellow jumps in, everybody jumps in, and then the thing starts boiling. So it's.
I think I would like to reinforce her concern what she said, because I have a
I
case.
lost the point. Yeah, tell me.
The case is, the guy is super rich, 20 crore property, but he has nominated almost all his property in his, the affair he has with the lady, in her name. And the wife and the 3 children, they are suffering like anything. And the children are grown up, like 25 years, 26 years, 28 years, and she's been in their maintenance. So, I mean, there should be a law to protect these 3
There is a law.
individuals.
There is a law.
And they are
Once the property is identified as belonging to a husband, it can be attached. Salary, government, if salary is there, salary can be attached.
On the contrary, he filed case against them to take away all the property that he gave her in the beginning, once they get married.
Look, in specific cases we can't comment. It is not right for us to comment in specific cases. We can talk only about general principles.
No, but this is exploitation. It's not specific. It may be at many places. We don't know.
Look, when did the relationship convert from a loving relationship of husband and a wife to a purely commercial and transactional relationship? And where did the entire breakdown happen? Those are all avenues we have to explore. We have to speak to the wife, to the husband, then all long story will come out. Then we will identify whose fault, what, everything. She also is stubborn. He also is stubborn. He has a big ego. She has a big ego. So there are remedies, legal remedies. For example, she has nominated XYZ lady. I'll tell you one thing. In civil law, there is no such thing as nomination. No, what is the specific procedure the husband has used? We don't know. We only know that she must be the beneficiary. That is what our assumption is. So without going into the nitty-gritty of the situation, I am unable to comment. I can just I get a vague feeling that something unjust has happened to the lady, and with that emotion we have to we can only confine ourselves to that particular conclusion.
Sister, I think I missed something before I left for prayer, so I didn't get a chance to know you. We have organized this program, so we are going to do a series of such programs. Here, you are available. So what's your expression of this topic?
See, I thought, but I've seen FIR वगैरह दर्ज कराने की बात हो रही थी, but the interest which I am seeing is ending up with BBC matters, dowry matters. These are very rampant items. These are at a very highest rate that I'm working on the ground. So you can arrange a series of family laws if interested in domestic
Our
violence.
idea is we would like to invite professionals for our specifically
Yes, we can. Specialists in the sense we work on the aspects. When cases come up to us, it's not that we don't say we practice civil side. See, there might be specialization on criminal side and civil side, but then matters like BBC and all, they are both together. It's also a part of civil matter. It's also a part of criminal matter. So, see, we are always there. Pakistan is always there. I am always there. Others also there. Or whichever thing. But I think before leaving, if you people I shared with Shoaib Sawan also, I think the community needs to go beyond marriage and domestic violence. The need of the time is something different, where we have seen persecution, people behind the bars. See, I think I sincerely feel that we have to go beyond marriages, divorce, dowry, BBC. I know this is rampant in every community, but our community especially is living in the zone. We have much serious problems. Because of that, FIR, you are supposed to know what is, most of, for no reason, our youth is behind the bars. The other day, I am working on the prison reforms also. I have to just say, we have freed 37 prisoners the other day. So, by paying fines, and you know what is the amount of fine? You will be shocked, 100 rupees. There are people behind the bars who are just, मतलब इसी तरह उठा के गए and उनकी फैमिली को पता नहीं है और ये पीछे से कहाँ सॉल्व करेंगे, समझ रहे हैं आप लोग? दे आर मच सीरियस थिंग्स व्हिच द कम्युनिटी नो वेरी पेटी थिंग्स, पेटी थिंग्स, वेरी पेटी जो भी होते हैं ना, फर्स्ट टाइम ऑफेंडर्स, पेटी मैटर्स, चबूतरा पे बैठने के लिए नौजवानों को जिस तरह से हमारे पकड़ के ले जा रहे हैं, इन चीज़ों पे थोड़ा सा ध्यान दीजिएगा। मैं ये रिक्वेस्ट करके मैं जाते जाते जाऊँगी। एंड आई थिंक मैंने कुछ चीज़ें शोएब साहब से कहे थे कि राइट्स ऑफ अरेस्टेड पर्सन, आपके जिसको अरेस्ट कर लिया जाता है उसके कुछ राइट्स होते हैं, इसके बारे में जैसे एफआईआर बहुत ज़रूरी था जानना, कंप्लेन करना जानना ज़रूरी था, राइट्स ऑफ अरेस्टेड पर्सन्स जानना ज़रूरी है, कॉन्सिक्वेंसेज ऑफ नॉन कंप्लायंस विद द प्रोविजंस रिलेटिंग टू अरेस्ट, जब कोई ऑफिसर अरेस्ट करने के बाद कुछ प्रोविजंस को फॉलो नहीं करता है, फैमिली क्या एक्शन ले सकती है, कोर्ट के सामने कैसे हम अपील कर सकते हैं उसकी इमीडिएट रिलीज के लिए, 24 आवर्स के मुताबिक वो भी है। एंड देन जनरल प्रोविजंस रिलेटेड टू सर्चेस, देखिए आजकल बुलडोजर का हो गया जमाना, ओके, किसी तरह परसों हाल ही है लास्ट मंथ ओल्ड सिटी में हियर शामिल बाग बदलापुरा, शामिल का घर है बदलापुरा, एक रैपिड पूरा इस तरीके से सर्च हुई तो आपको सर्च का किस तरह से वो कर सकते हैं, आपके पास आके आपकी प्राइवेसी इंक्लूड कर सकते हैं कि नहीं कर सकते हैं, ये जानना जरूरी है। आज हमारी कम्युनिटी को ये जानने की बेहद सख्त जरूरत है, इसके क्या प्रोविजंस है। हम बस ऑफिसर को भर्ती में देख के डर जाते हैं, वो डर निकालना जरूरी है, इसीलिए ये प्रोविजंस आपको जानना जरूरी है। These are burning things which are supposed to know। और उसी के साथ मुझे लगता है consequences of illegalities in a search, अगर कोई ऑफिसर इलीगल तरीके से वे से सर्च करता है उसके ऊपर एक्शन कैसा लेना है, कम्युनिटी कैसे खर्च है, फैमिली कैसे खर्च है, पड़ोस कैसे खर्च है, ये जानना भी आपको जरूरी है। एंड आई थिंक द प्रोसीजर व्हेन इन्वेस्टिगेशन इज नॉट कंप्लीटेड इन 24 आवर्स, 24 घंटे में इन्वेस्टिगेशन नहीं होती, किसी को उठा के लेके गए कोर्ट के सामने प्रोड्यूस करना है, नहीं करते हैं, 7-7 दिन 8-8 दिन गायब करके रखते हैं बच्चों को। तो मैं ये टॉपिक्स कह रही थी, वो आज ऑफकोर्स डीबीसी जानिएगा, उसका एक सेशन पूरा करने के लिए मैं तैयार हूँ, क्योंकि मैं ग्राउंड पे काम कर रही हूँ, आपको बता रही थी। We have established 8 centers now, alhamdulillah, with certified counselors. तो इंशाल्लाह whatever आपका पैनल डिसाइड करता है, we are always there, अभी साहब is always there, आपका पूरा पैनल है, we are always there to coordinate that.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jahan. We are planning this, and I think with the legal awareness series, we have already planned to call DB, and we have other specialists as well. Simply for legal awareness, there are many topics. So we will be doing a couple of these series one by one, whichever is the hot topic. So we have in our bag, we have in our strategy to roll it out one by one, because one day is too much. Like today now it's a brainstorming session, it becomes too much for everybody. So we have it slowly one by one. As we roll along, we will have that, we'll have the arbitration, we'll have the reconciliation, family reconciliation, we'll have a lot of things. And civil rights, and we'll have a lot of things. So I hope you all come along with us. If you're registered, if you're not registered, go ahead and register, and then we'll keep registration open for you. For those who are not registered, anything you'd like to say?
Alhamdulillah, the registration we got almost 140, but the turnout was pretty poor. I don't know why after registration, because registration itself is taking pain to enter the data, and then they don't turn up. So I'm not sure. It's part of offering free lunch, which is very unethical. So nevertheless, we will keep the data. We will not share it to any third party, and we will keep you updated about our future programs. If you have any suggestions, any feedback to this session, any improvement. So here is our number. You can WhatsApp our trust number, and if you want to collect visiting card, business card, I have some business cards you can bring from. And we, other than this, our involvement is in entrepreneurship, self-help group, setting up businesses, providing ration, school fees, college fees. So either you can lead us to people who are really genuinely in need of these facilities, or you can yourself become a donor to our trust so that we can carry out our work.
I wish to propose a vote of thanks to all the people from Sultan College, from other colleges as well, and also from Payam College and some of the other colleges. I don't know the names. So we wish you great thanks for coming here, for participation, for registering with us, and you will be on our roll when we do the next part. Now we also have an innovation and entrepreneurship initiative where we want to make an innovation center, and I have got I built innovation centers in about 6 universities in the UAE. They are still there. About 10 years back, from 10 years back. So I built innovation centers, and innovation is something which should be there in every business, in every school, in every organization. If you're not innovative as an employee, then your owner doesn't need to keep you there. If you're just signing in and signing out, it's no use. You're going to get rid of. Somebody else is going to take over. Because the job means, the tigress, she teaches her cow, go and catch that, the gazelle. Run faster than the gazelle and you will get her for dinner. And the gazelle teaches her child, run faster than the tigress, if not you will be a dinner. So that's the race all about jobs. So you need to be innovative, design thinking, creativity, and this is a Stanford program which I used to teach, and this we want to bring over here, and we are fully loaded and we are with so many things now, but we will slowly roll that out as well. But for today I wish to just sum up everything. We will be doing a little bit of Save the Constitution, a little bit of Save the Assets, community assets, Save the Citizens with legal awareness, a little bit of civil rights, human rights, and we will also do innovation and creativity and these kind of things. So it's a totally educational and healthcare sort of communion that we'll have. So for today, I wish to thank Anis Saab vehemently, senior advocate, which he has taken time out from his high court, and he has decided to contribute almost 4 hours to us. Please give him a big round of applause from our side. And I wish to thank Dr. Abdul Wasi. He's a data scientist. He's got 3 PhD degrees from Germany, 1 from the US and from the UK. So that's not a joke. We got 3 PhD. I wish to thank him. I wish to thank the IT experts. Rahmatullah and Mujib is not here. The people who work behind the scenes, we have a team. The data scientists, the IT people, and people working behind the scenes to make this possible. And this little young lad, we thank him a lot. तो सबको हम शुक्रिया अदा करते हैं आपके दिलो जान से. हम उनको भी शुक्रिया अदा करते हैं जो ये रॉयल रूबी एंटरप्राइजेस थे जो हमें ठंडे पानी का ये किया स्पॉन्सरशिप की. And we also thank those people who spread our messages. Hamza was here from his outside, I think, from the Sultan School. He helped us a lot. Sayyid Nasirul Saab, हमारे पीर साहब, and और नाम तो नहीं दे सकता मैं सबके. And Shireen, we thank Shireen. Shireen is very fresh. Shireen, na? Shazia, sorry, Shazia, sorry. We thank Shazia also. And we thank our MCCI, Tariq Saab, the IT expert, who came also. And नाम तो नहीं आ रहा मुझे. So once again, big applause to हमारे Anis Saab, Jazakallah khair. And inshallah, it was very innovative. It was very mind blowing. It was very interesting and informative. So thank you very much. Have a good day, and please connect with us. And thank you so much. Thank you once again. Alisa.